Hello, welcome back to Chat About It, Don't Shout About It with me, Rachel, the Queen of the Woke, as crowned by one of my haters. So I'm away at the moment on holiday, and it's going to be a little while before I'm back, maybe at this time of recording. I don't know when this video is going to be released. So I'm doing some different content that's not my regular content. And this was a subscriber request talking about things like sweets and candy and snacks and all sorts of things, basically. And this time I am going to be talking about crisp from the 90s. I'm a wretched millennial, so I was a 90s child. And these are, well, my favorite crisps, I guess you could say, or chips, as you would call them in other places. And some of these you can still get today, and some of them you can't get today. I have an obsession when I was a kid with pickled onion flavor, and I think I still do now. I absolutely adore pickled flavor, just full stop. Pickled eggs, pickled onions, and they put it into crisp. That was a very common flavor over here in the UK, and I always used to think these were called Space Invaders, but I think this was because I was also thinking about a game called Space Invaders, even though I'm not that much big of that much of a gamer. But Space Raiders, and when I was little, they used to be 10p a bag, so they used to be really, really, really cheap, and they were sort of low-fat crisps, which were ideal for children. Yes, children were eating pickled onion flavor. It's absolute madness because it's quite sour, and each crisp would be like sort of puffed up potato, I think it was, and its head shaped like an alien. So I ate aliens' heads as a child in my lunchbox. Crisps, when I was growing up, were not a massive mainstay in my lunchbox. We'd get them a couple of times a week, maybe, and Space Raiders was one of them. And to keep going with the theme of pickled onion, and you can still get these ones today for sure. Monster Munch. Now, my mum wouldn't often buy the branded version of Walkers, but I don't know if anyone remembers that a long time ago, they used to do something called Pogs and Tazos, and this was the Walker's crisp and certain brands of crisp were the only places where you can get it. And I think one of those brands was Walker's. And maybe I'm just misremembering, but my mum used to pay us like 50p each or something ridiculous like that to take the jars to the jar bank and dispose of them, and then she'd give us all some money so that we can go and buy ourselves no sweets, because that was a big no-no. We go and buy ourselves a packet of crisps. One of the things that we used to do, which was really naughty, but I'm sure all children do it, was that we used to squeeze each bag to see if we can find a Tazo or a Pog. And we were very naughty. We shouldn't have done that, but that's what we did. Pickled onion was one of my favorite flavors, like I said before. So yeah, when you put flaming hot and pickled onion, and I wasn't too keen on the roast beef flavor of this one because I'm not a massive meat eater. Well, I wasn't a massive meat eater then. I don't eat meat at all now because I really don't like it. But yeah, Burton's potato puffs. Okay, so this is an unusual one. You can't get these anymore. So what would happen was we would go for our childhood vaccinations at our doctor's surgery. And because we'd had vaccinations, one thing that happens when you get a vaccination is things like your blood sugar levels, they can drop, and you can unfortunately have a side effect and pass out potentially. So every time we went for a vaccination at the doctor's, or perhaps we had to have something done at the hospital so we hadn't eaten something or whatever, mum would take us to this corner shop that was very close to the doctor's, and she would buy us a drink, and unusually it would have been a fizzy drink, which she doesn't like buying us, but it'd be one of those, teeny tiny cans that you can get, and that would boost our sugar levels back up. And then we had to have a bag of crisps because we weren't allowed the sweets very often. But the reason why was because the crisp had the carbohydrate. But we weren't allowed expensive crisp when we were doing that because we were having the fizzy drink to help boost our sugar levels. And that was the only time we were allowed fizzy drinks, that and at a special event, by the way, just so you know. And these crisps were one of those things that she used to buy us. In actual fact, I think that was the one that we had to have every time. Beef flavor for whatever reason. Maybe it was just because they only ever stocked beef. I can't really remember. But these potato puffs, they were about this big. They were really, really tiny, and they would take us ages to eat. And actually, I wonder if that's why she actually made us buy those, because they took us a long time to actually eat because they were so small and they were quite hard. It was like a shell, but they were just sort of puffed up and they're teeny tiny. And I don't think they were particularly expensive. I don't recall how much they were, but that one was a favorite of mine because, we go and get our vaccines from the doctors. We're going to get something to eat afterwards. And it was a cause for a great deal of excitement, apparently. This brand I haven't seen in the UK for a long time. I have a strange feeling, though. This must have been an American brand because it has the word quarterbacks in it. So it's possible. Do you have this, or did you have this brand in America? Now, my favorite out of these were the Tangy Toms and the petrified prawns. I wasn't so keen on the other flavors, even though we had onion rings, but it wasn't pickled onion, and that was a severe disappointment. But Tangy Tom's was probably my favorite, and then the petrified prawns. And they were just that. But the Tangy Toms, they were red, pretty much. Well, had a red coating, and they were just balls of crisp, puffed up crisp, and I really enjoyed them actually. I think you can still get these today. Frazzles. I Even though I don't like meat, when I was a kid, these were okay because I used to like the taste of these more than the actual texture, and they used to come with so much flavoring that I could actually lick it off, and that's why I liked it. And the yeah, well, I don't know why I did that. Typical kid behavior, I suppose, but there you go. Chipsticks! So these were a favorite of my dad's, and the reason why they've made the list is because that's actually something that I would have shared with my dad. And there's no other reason behind it because they were incredibly sour with the vinegar. And of course, Funyuns have to make the list. These are all from the same brand, Smith's. I have not seen this in years, though, so maybe this one has been discontinued. I'm pretty sure I've seen Chipsticks somewhere, and I don't think Frazzles have been discontinued off the top of my head. I could probably look it up, but it's not that big of a deal at the end of the day. I'm just talking about favorite chips, favorite crisps from the 90s. But yeah, Funyuns. I don't really know why they were a favorite though. Okay, these two you definitely can still buy today for sure. So the Quavers also actually hold a memory. This is what my nan used to buy me when we would go and see my auntie in her hometown. She would just randomly take me off for the day and leave my mum to it with the other kids. And that's not favoritism. It's just because my brother and my baby brother, sorry, were very young at the time. They're not twins, but there's not much of an age gap between them. So they were very young. So I was a bit older. So my nan used to just take me off and she would buy me a bag of Quavers. And actually, I may have this completely wrong and I cannot remember for the life of me. But if anyone does, please let me know in the comments. I swear that Quavers used to come with these tiny little stickers inside them. I might be misremembering, but you know, I can't remember. And then hula hoops. Obviously, here is salt and vinegar. I like the salt and vinegar and the ready salted. I don't really like the cheese and onion or the beef flavor ones. So the reason why I like hula hoops is because you could put them on your finger, and that's pretty sad. And that's why I still like them today. So, what were your favorite chips or crisps from the 90s or from your childhood that may have even been discontinued today? Let me know in the comments below. Like the video if you'd like to like the video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.